Hi, I'm Tucker Robbins with White Robbins Property Management, and as an owner-client, you probably want to maximize your rental income. Of course, it only makes sense. Well, what are some of the unique ways that you can do this? And I don't mean just by charging more. We'll get to that. We don't want to just gouge tenants. That's not the way to maximize your income. Now, before we look specifically, this is foundational to that. You need to know what your rental rate per day on your property is. Do you even know what that is? And the reason that is so important is as you're considering maximizing your rental income, you want to avoid this, the big, bad, ugly vacancy. See, this is the big killer for maximizing your income is vacancy. Vacancy is not good for you as a landlord, so we want to stay away from this. So at least as much as possible. So let's learn what our vacancy cost per day on a property is. For example, if your property is running for $1,800, divide that by 30 days, that means your rent per day is $60. That means every day your property is vacant, it's costing you $60. And we don't typically think that way, but we need to. We need to know how much it costs us every day. Now, it costs us more than that, doesn't it? Because we've got to pay things like utilities and, we have additional costs of vacancies, but at a minimum, we're losing $60 every single day on that property that sits vacant. So the number one way to maximize your rental process is the make-ready process. You want to get that property turned over as quickly and as efficiently as possible because you're losing $60 per day on your property. So the way we see this oftentimes is a tenant will move out of the property. We'll tell the owner that it needs a new paint job and we'll give them a price and they'll say, well, gosh, you know what? I think I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to save a few bucks. I'm going to do it myself and I'll be out there this next weekend when I can go paint the property. Well, the weekend's 5 days away and sure enough, they can come over the weekend and paint it, but it's going to take them actually 2 weeks to paint the property because they can't get the whole thing done in a weekend. So if it takes them 5 days, let's just say it takes them 5 days that we're losing to go back a couple of slides, it's $60 a day. 5 days, $60 a day, that's $300 right there that they're gone. So you want to speed up the process. You don't want to wait that long on a turnover. You want to go quick on that make-ready process. That's number one. Number two, once you have the tenant in place, you want to provide fast and quality repairs. Surveys show nationally, year after year, the number one reason good tenants give for not renewing a lease is poor quality maintenance. That's what national surveys show. You don't want that to happen to you. Now, the way to keep it from happening is by you providing high quality service. Just do that for them. Get them out there quickly, send qualified repairmen, and send them quickly so that they take care of the tenants. That way, when it comes time to lease renewal, your tenant wants to renew and you want to avoid the big, bad, ugly vacancy. Number three, don't pay for utilities. You don't need to. This comes from a good place for most landlords. They often pay for things like water for a tenant. They say, well, gosh, I want the tenant to water the lawn, so I'll pay their water and I'll get it. It makes sense. It comes from a good place, but that's not customary. You don't need to do that. Most landlords require the tenants to pay all utilities. So if you're paying your tenants' utilities, stop. All it does is encourage them to take longer showers if you're paying for their water. Let them pay for their own utilities. And number four, don't be afraid to increase the rent, at least at rent renewal time. And we run into this all the time where our lease is coming up for a renewal and we don't want to lose the tenancy, but the landlord will say, gosh, I don't want them to move, so don't increase the rent. Leave it where it is. Now, we never want to lose a good tenant either, especially over a rental increase. We never want that to happen. However, I can just about guarantee over the last 12 months, your taxes have gone up, your insurance has gone up, your HOA dues may have gone up, so you need to increase the rent by some factor just to stay level. Otherwise, you're going backwards on these things. So don't be afraid. Tenants aren't going to move out over a small rent increase. Don't increase to the point that you're going to push them away, especially a good tenant away. You never want to do that. You don't want vacancy. But tenants understand that there's typically going to be some type of an increased cost, a modest increased cost, just to offset the increased costs you've had as a landlord. So these 4 things will help you over time and over the course of time to maximize your profit. Avoid the vacancy, don't pay for utilities, and ensure that you're increasing tenants regularly on some modest level on a rental agreement. Now, if you've got questions on this, give us a call. If you're one of our clients, we're already doing these things for you. Give our office a call, 302-478-5555. We'd be happy to give you more information.